booktube, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my Friday Reads video. It is Friday, May 10th. This is my attempt at giving you a reading update at the time when I'm actually reading the books. So I'm going to tell you about the books that I read this week and the books that I'm reading right now and hope to finish that I can update you on next week. I love watching Friday Reads videos. I've been wanting to do them for a while, but sometimes it's difficult to get home early enough on a Friday to make a video and edit it and post it on the same day. But I've been home all day because I've been sick for the past couple of days. That's why I sound a little congested. I've been home Thursday, Friday. It means that I've gotten some reading done. I haven't been as productive in the other areas of my life, but this is BookTube. You're here for the books, so me staying at home and reading for 2 days is a good thing. This week I finished 2 books so far. The first book that I finished is The Printed Letter Bookshop by Catherine Ray. I did a blog review of this one, which I'll link in the description box down below. So if you'd like to read my blog review, it's up now. I'm also going to be posting a full video review when I do my closer book discussion of this one, and I've already filmed it because I'm doing my video clips as soon as I finish reading the books. I'm really trying to keep my reading updates timely. But in any case, I finished The Printed Letter Bookshop. This is a book that I read in I think a day. I really enjoyed it. It was an ARC. This, you can tell at the top, advanced reader copy that I got from the publisher. And this is a book that I wouldn't mind going out and buying my own copy so I could own it. This is a book lover's delight. The main characters are from very different walks of life, and a bookshop unites all of them, and so it is just so beautiful to read. In this one we have an old woman who has been running a bookshop. She and her husband owned it. Her husband died. Now at the beginning of the novel she's dying and she leaves her bookshop. It's not a bookstore. She calls it a bookshop. She leaves it to her niece, who she's had a kind of hot and cold relationship with because she's been estranged from her niece's parents for a while, and they kind of took her niece out of her life. But when she's dying, she decides that she's going to leave the bookshop to the niece, who at the time when she inherits the legacy is in her early 30s. She's a millennial and she has a promising career as a lawyer, so she's probably not looking to upend her entire life and start running a bookshop. But the 2 women who had been working for her aunt and the community that is ready to embrace her, they really do suck her in. And oh my goodness, there's a lot to love about this book. It has book lists. When the old woman is dying, she leaves a letter for her niece and a letter for her 2 female employees, and those letters contain lists of books that she recommends that will help them traverse the next steps in their life. And there's so much literary quality to this book, but it's also a feel-good kind of romance, kind of Christian faith-based fiction, but none of those things overwhelm the literary value of this. So I don't know how to explain it other than to say I gave this a 5-star rating. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about it in my closer book video, and of course if you want to read my blog review, check the description box down below. The other book that I finished this week, I can't talk to you about it yet because it is a contender for the BookTube prize that I'm going to be judging, so you'll hear more about that when I post my video discussion of the 6 books that I'm judging for this round of the BookTube prize. And of course I'll also link in the description box details of the BookTube prize if you haven't heard about it and you want to get a little bit more detail description of what it is and how you can learn about participation. I mean, it's too late now for you to sign up to be a judge for this year's prize, but you can watch the videos. The prize itself is going to be unveiled later this year, but for right now, I guess if you haven't already signed up to judge the BookTube prize, right now you can just be a spectator, but sometimes that's enough. I mean, yeah, but enough of that. The other book that I finished this week, I won't tell you about it yet because I'm going to be doing a video discussion. As soon as I've read each of the books, I'm filming a clip where I discuss the book. So it's not going to be showing up in my closer book reviews and I won't tell you about them here. But I'm trying to keep accurate records of how I respond to each one of the books. I've come up with a list of questions that I'm asking myself in how to judge these books, how to compare them. So I have a list of questions that I ask myself when I read a book, what are some of the things that appeal to me and whether this book checked those boxes for me. Ballots for this round of the Booktube Prize are due on May 24th, which means that I have 2 weeks to complete my reading. So you'll hear more about my choices on May 24th when I release that video. So those are the 2 books that I finished this week. One I could tell you about, one I couldn't. Other books that I started reading this week, I checked out a chapter from 2 of the Booktube Prize contenders that I'm going to be reading, and I can't tell you about those titles yet, so I'm not even going to tell you how I felt about them because it's not relevant. I can't discuss it. But I also started a book that is just blowing me away. I'm doing a buddy read of The Story of Edgar Sawtelle by David Roblowski. This is an Oprah's book club pick from 2008, and my friend gave this book to me a few months ago. She said she got it, she didn't think she was going to read it, but since I am this big reader, she thought I would enjoy it. You know, it's a used copy. She passed it on to me. I was really appreciative because I like when people give me books. It says that they know me, because I really haven't seen a book that I didn't at least want to check out. So she sent me this book, and I had it on my haul video. And one of my subscribers, Patrice Jones, hi Patrice, Patrice said, yeah, I'll buddy read that with you. So we started buddy reading it, and the book is divided into parts. So we decided that we would read a part a week or so. And she started reading before I did. So she started encouraging me to read it because she enjoyed it. And man, once I started reading this book, I didn't want to put it down. After I finished part 1 and we did our first check-in, I just wanted to go back and keep reading this book. So I just finished part 2. Our next check-in is not until the weekend. So I guess I could probably Voxer her tonight because it's the weekend, right? I love this book. I don't want to tell you too much about this except to say that it's about a young boy who's mute, and it's not his defining quality. He is intelligent, he is normal in every other way other than that he can't speak. He has the gift of language, he can hear, he can communicate with other people, he just can't vocalize words. And I think the thing that really intrigues me about this title is that here we have a person whose name is Sawtelle, and it seems like it's kind of a pun because he could see but he can't tell exactly, at least not the way that other people can. And I just find that so fascinating. Yeah, put the book down because it's really heavy. It's 500 and something pages, hardcover. Yeah, it's not easy to just hold it up for a few minutes. The thing that I love about the book, it's set in the 1900s in rural Wisconsin, and it's about a family and they're dog breeders. I don't want to tell you too much about the book other than to say, if you're interested in books that are very expansive in that you can tell that the author is preparing to give you a saga. So he gives you a lot of information that seems extraneous. It seems like it's not going to be linked to anything. But as you read more and more into the book, you start to see connections between the things that he just kind of littered in the beginning of the novel as though they were just random descriptions, but they're now all connecting and making sense. And I just love the writing style. I didn't think that I was interested in reading about dogs and dog breeding, but it's more like just a backdrop for this family story to take place in front of. Except that you also are getting connection and interaction from these dogs because the dogs are part of the family. Edgar's an only child, but he's been raised around these dogs. And we even get a chapter, a short chapter albeit, but we get a chapter from the perspective of his pet, who has been with him and kind of his caretaker and protector for most of his life. Oh, I love this book. I can't wait to finish, except it's the kind of book where you don't want it to finish because you're just enjoying it so much. So you'll hear more about the story of Edgar Sawtelle as I read. I'm just finished part 2, which is 240, page 241 I think I'm at. So yeah, that's the other book that I started this week that I could tell you about. And then one more book that I started that's not a secret book, and this is for the Asian readathon that I'm participating in this month. It's Girls Burn Brighter by Shoba Rao. And oh my, I also really enjoy this book. I mean, I'm not very far in. I'm probably just couple of chapters in. But what really hooked me at first with this book is the prologue, which it doesn't call it a prologue, it's just a page or two in the beginning of the book before chapter 1. Call it a prologue, but it doesn't have that title. It reminds me so much of the book that I read late last year, One Part Woman by Perumal Murugan, which was one of Sean the Bookmaniac's favorite books from last year as well. In the prologue of this one, we meet this old woman. They say she's about 100 years old and childless, and a journalist goes to interview her, and she's saying she's not childless, she has all these children, her 3 children. And he's acknowledging that yes, she has all these children, and he refers to the children as being sons, and she says, no, that's where you're wrong, they're not sons, they're my daughters. Something about the transference of maternity or paternity from parent-child to parent-plant, something about this just hooked me. The idea that a person who is childless, hasn't born biological children of their own, could also still be productive and contribute to the environment by having 3 children or plant children. I mean, I don't know what this is going to be for the story, because after that we cut and we're following the 2 main characters in the story, which are 2 young girls. This story is set in India. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned that before. The story is set in India, and it's about these two young girls who are poor, and so they're not really considered to be marriage material, or at least not very appealing as brides, because their parents are poor. They don't really have money for a dowry or whatever. But something about this reminded me of One Part Woman by Perumal Murugan. Not just the fact that both books are set in India, but also the fact that we have people who are not having children but are causing plants to flourish. I just loved, because I really like One Part Woman for that. And so right now I'm nurturing high hopes for this book. I don't know what I'm going to be reading later today. I'm kind of thinking that I might want to get a little further in this one, because I can't read any further in the story of Edgar Sawtelle. I can't read past my reading buddy. So I'm gonna have to pull the brakes, maybe read some of this and read some of my books for the BookTube prize. And so that's my Friday Reads recap. Thank you so much for watching this video. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and let's talk in the comments. Let me know what you're reading. What did you finish this week? What was the best book that you read this week so far? Of course, the best thing that I finished was a printed letter Bookshop, which is not good because I read a book that was a contender for a BookTube prize. But listen, sometimes the most unlikely of books can become favorites. So I'd love to hear what was your favorite from this week in the comments down below. So let's talk down there, and until next time, happy reading. Bye.